Hello there, everyone. It's Debra Kasowski. Today's video, we're going to be talking about celebrating differences, living differences, understanding how others walk through this world. Think about what you like and you don't like, what a leader is and what a leader is not. Discover why unconscious bias matters and what you can do. What were you thinking when you were asked that question? What's in your bag?
Well, I was going to be certified as a mediator. And so it was definitely not the first question that I expected for him to come out with. And I was like, oh, this is going to be interesting. And then the picture popped up and it had all these things that are happening. You need to understand for where you've come from, why you think the way that you think. Why do you move? It's not a bad thing. It's not against anything, but it's being aware of our biases. It's being aware of our joy. What's in your bag? Is it your community? Is your language? Is it your culture? What you like, what you don't like? Why don't you like them? Why do you like them? And so to break that down, I created a full workshop on what's in your bag, because until we understand who we are and how we walk, we're never going to understand how someone else walks through this world. But I also think we have to understand that being exposed to that, enjoying it, doesn't take away from your culture, your experiences, and what you know. It's just opening you up to something new. Doesn't mean you have to like it, but at least you tried it, or you were involved in being part of seeing something new. And we have to allow ourselves to take that time in that moment, just to be in the moment.
Yeah.
And not
I
to
think
judge
it's interesting how you say allow, because human nature is for us to automatically to move to that judger mentality.
you experience different things. And like I said, it's not everything that you have to go for. But if you're there in this culture in that moment, take a moment to immerse yourself. Learn 2 words of a different language just to be polite. How about that part?
Yeah. I have a friend who wants to learn like all the ways to say thank you in the world.
Yes.
Right. So I think that's a pretty cool goal, to learn that. And I think, these experiences, our show, the Millionaire Woman Show, is really about living rich from the inside out through principles of life, leadership, and business. So it's the richness that we can have from our experience of who we are, how we plan to show up in the world, and how we interact others, and how do we make a difference in the world together.
How do you set the example?
Exactly.
For yourself, for others around you, and for the next generation coming up behind you, and for those that are in front of you that are looking at us going, things are different now. Understand it. Go back. What's in your bag? What is that richness that you're bringing? Because everyone has something.
Yeah, we all have something in that bag to contribute, yes, to reflect on. And it's a treasure. Now, people have many different views of what a leader is and what a leader is not. Can you just share with us your perspective of the difference between the two?
Hey, understanding what a leader is being able to know what your qualities are, good and bad, knowing how to bring good qualities out in someone else, to be able to step back and go, how do I create an environment that I can get the best out of everyone that I'm working with and give the best of myself? Someone that listens, not to react, but to formulate how you move to the next level. A leader that doesn't do that is not a leader. They are a dictator. And they are usually not someone that is confident within themselves, because they haven't taken the time to realize who they are and what qualities they want to be as a leader.
Totally. Because I think when it comes to leadership, everyone has their own definition of what it looks like. When I ask people about success or wealth, the same thing. Everyone has their own, from what's in their bag, of what that definition might be. Now, for some people, this conversation can be fresh. For some people, maybe they've been involved in the diversity, inclusion, and equality conversation for a while. But what is unconscious bias and why does it matter?
It matters because if you don't know what you like and what you don't like and why you don't like something, even why you like something, but really why you don't like something, if you've never taken the moment to go, why don't I like that donut?
Yeah.
You know, I like to make it really simple. I like to break this stuff down. So, why don't I like that? Why do I only go to that shop?
Yeah.
Oh, because they treat me nice, because they look like me and sound like me and walk like me. I don't want to try the new place. They're different than I am.
Yeah.
So like I said, I like to make it simple. So therefore, that is unconscious bias.
Yeah.
You go, oh, it's nothing against that donut shop, but this one treats me nicer because you're comfortable.
Mm. You know, it just makes me think about when you said, how do you know? And I think it's a conversation that not everybody has really thought about the choices that they make. They make them so, you know, automatically that they don't sit back, just like the roast. And I think about, you know, I know that I'm going to get some backlash for this, but I do not drink coffee. I have never had any coffee, and nor at this point do I plan to have any. The reason being, growing up on the farm, we used to have a tailgate party kind of thing that, you know, my mom would make all this fried chicken and potatoes and things that we'd take out to my dad on the field. And there would be this big thermos of black coffee.
I knew something was coming.
And when they would pour this coffee out, it looked like tar to me.
Mm.
And it had a distinct smell. My dad drank it black. Still to this day, he drinks it black. And I cannot touch it. I have this strong association. I can walk past people's cups of coffee, smells divine, but I have no desire to even sample the flavor of it.
Right. And then who's to say one day you don't get a dessert with coffee ice cream?
Yeah.
And you don't realize that it's even coffee ice cream.
Yeah.
And you're eating and you're like, oh, this is divine, these flavors together. And you go, what is this? And someone goes, coffee ice cream. And you're like, no, I don't do coffee.
I don't do coffee. Yeah.
And so it's the willingness to sometimes let your mind be where it is, as opposed to, now there's certain things we don't like. I don't like beets. So I get that. I don't want to beat. Sorry, anyone that loves beets. I'm just not a beet girl. Yeah. So, but I had a chef that did beets and they looked like mashed potatoes. And I was like, oh, isn't he being creative, adding some red dye into the, come to find out that he did yuca and beets mixed. And it was amazing. But the word beet to me gets the back of my jaw draws up.
Wow.
But when you don't sometimes know.
Mm-hmm.
So I always say this, if you fell in a hole, right? And you're down in that hole and it's dark and a hand reached down to grab and say, grab my hand, I have you. Do you ask them what color they are? What church or temple do they go to?
Yeah.
Who's their rabbi, their priest, their imam? What are you wearing? What school did you go to? What's your sorority? Do you ask any of those questions?
Not a chance. You want to get out.
You reach up and you grab that hand. And then 9 out of 10, when you get up, you grab the person and you say, thank you. And then your mind goes back into, oh, who are you? What just happened?
Yeah.
Think about being in the hole and reaching for the hand and just saying, thank you.
Tiramisu is something that I never turn down. And I know that there's some coffee in it, but to give me the form of a coffee cup, not a chance. But tiramisu, I will never turn down.
I'm with you on that one.
Can you explain, like, one of the things that I got from your book as well, and I want to share it with everybody, because I think this is where the juices and the stimulating conversation comes from. When I was diving into your book, what does it mean that being an ally is part of your DNA?
So everyone always wants to say how they are an ally. I say, stop it. You're not allowed to call yourself an ally. An ally, so you have a champion, an advocate, and an ally. Champion calls out, and so it's easier to break down. Champion calls out so-and-so should be in this room. Oh, Deborah's great for that. You should call her. They bring you part of the conversation. The advocate immediately is like, Deborah has to be at this table. Don't even start the meeting unless she's there. She has that knowledge. They're always pulling. That ally, before anyone at the top of the conversation goes, here's everyone that needs to be part of this. This is how this needs to go. But they do the work in the dark. They do the work in the light. They do the work regardless. It's not, oh, I want to be seen in the picture. So let me pick up a shovel and be here, or let me raise my fist and be here, or I'm really woke. No, they're thinking constantly, how do I make this better? What can I do? Not what others do, what can I do to help shift this narrative? That's being an ally. It's part of who they are deep within.
I think, you can look in your life and see who those people are. They just are the doers. They go and do things, and they're not expecting any type of acknowledgement or identity with that. They just do and live that way.
It needs to be done, and they make it happen. Right.
But to intentionally diversify, what is your belief in what needs to happen in society?
So part of what my firm does at the Cavu Group, I'm actually now working with companies, helping them diversify. But before we even have that conversation, the deal is I need to work with leadership. Why are you diversifying? Why is this important to you? What's the equity that you're prepared, which is access, are you prepared to give to any employee that walks through the door? But assuring that if you are opening the door to diversity, that the same access is going to be there as for others, that they're not about belonging because a book belongs in a bookstore. How are you building a culture of inclusiveness? So that means I'm the first one to say, please don't hire any diverse employees if you're not ready. And when I say diverse, I want to be clear on what I mean. That's gender, that's race, that's disabilities, sight seen and unseen, veterans, LGBTQ+. If you're not prepared to have these types of conversations and to be inclusive in your equity of what you're giving, then don't do it.